Space combat now presents a whole new challenge. As a pilot, you will need to start flying with better tactics. Understanding your ship's layout will be increasingly important, because in a fight, knowing where your components are stationed will allow you to position your ship in battle so you take less damage. Knowing where everything is will mean quicker repairs whilst on board, as, at times, unless you have a dedicated engineer on board, you will need to get out of the pilot's seat, run over to a terminal, identifying damaged areas, and fix them quickly. Disabling ships, rather than soft deathing, is looking more like the new gameplay style for space combat. Therefore, being solo in any ship is going to be more difficult, as you will actively have to do repairs whilst mid-battle. If you do lose a cooler or take serious damage to the power plant, you will be a sitting duck until those repairs are made, as your ship will disable itself, and you will have no flight controls until repairs are made. Some things we do currently know about combat in 4.5 is ballistic weapons can penetrate shields, laser weapons will be increasingly effective against shields, and missiles will have a serious buff in terms of hitting targets. Before we go through how to identify or repair through the terminal, firstly let's go through the equipment you and/or your engineer is going to need on them prior to takeoff. The Cambio SRT is by far the best and quickest repair tool on the market today. You will need to ensure this is always fully charged, and take a spare, as falling over and potentially dropping it whilst in combat will be a common occurrence. 2 is 1 and 1 is none is a saying in the military. Redundancy is key. The multi-tool SRT attachment is the redundancy you're looking for. It's a lot slower at repair. However, having one on your hip might just save your life. And finally, the humble fire extinguisher. You will find these dotted about your ship near to most component bays. However, there is another free one every time you enter a hangar, just by the ASOP terminal. Ensure you pick that up every time you call a ship, so you have one ready to use. A handy tip: if you put the fire extinguisher back after you've used it, your ship will recharge it for the next use. Now let's work through a repairs checklist. Firstly, identify fire because it spreads and will damage everything else around it, including other components. You need to deal with fire first. Step 1, try and vent the area where the fire is via the terminal. Click on the room or component bay's location. It will be identified as on fire by the flame symbol flashing above it. Once opened, click the on-off button in the top right-hand corner of the info box. That will vent that space. However, it's not foolproof, and if that fire is raging, it will only slow it down. Step 2, take your fire extinguisher and actively go put it out. Step 3, using your Cambio SRT, actively do a repair. The more of you repairing the component or tackling the fire, the quicker it will be done. Important: trying to repair anything on fire is a fool's task. Ensure this is under control before moving on to any other steps. Step 4. Once done, check back at the engineering terminal in case further damage has been taken to other areas. As mentioned previously, the 2 main components that will need special attention first if they are damaged are the coolers and power plants. With power plants especially, if these get damaged severely, a timer will start and you will have 100 seconds to enact repairs. However, if your coolers are down, no matter what you do to the power plant, they will still explode, as they no longer have a cooling system stopping them from overheating. Fire may not always be present. Only if components are severely damaged or overheating will they burst into flames. Regardless, always go through the checklist, and if the first 2 are not needed, just repair. If you leave them damaged for too long, they will shut off, and you will be dead in the water, so don't wait too long to go fix them. If you do leave it too long, a timer will start on your terminal. Once it reaches 0, then it's game over. 7Hills. A pilot can do minor repairs from the cockpit via the MFD's diagnostics page and is called one-time repair. However, beware, this is a Hail Mary strategy. Repairs done via the MFD screen, depending on the size of your components, all have different times to repair and will only give you 20% functionality. It is also a one-time option, so no further repairs, manual or otherwise, will fix this component. It is very much a last resort and should only be considered if nothing else but retreat is in order. As mentioned at the very start, engineering is about to change everything in terms of traversing the verse. It has become clear to me that understanding your ships will become incredibly important. The quicker you can fix a problem, the quicker you can get back to flying. Knowing every relay, where all your components are, and how much life is left in each item is essential to being a capable spacefarer in 4.5. We know ballistics will be meta for this next patch. We know flying solo will be possible. However, in a fight, you will be severely disadvantaged. Boarding will potentially become part of the gameplay, so having sufficient weapons on board will be important. Weapon racks will need to be stocked, as you will most likely be holstering repair equipment for the majority of spaceflight. We know all this will undoubtedly have an impact on the economy of the game, having to buy and replace worn-out components, repair tools and other consumables. Missions will need more thought and preparation. Engineering not only affects ships but also ground vehicles, so if you razz that Ursa to hard whilst on a planet's surface, you will have the same issues on the ground as in flight. Finally, remember the steps. Step 1. Vent fire. Step 2. Put fire out if venting fails. Step 3. Repair components. Step 4. Check back on terminal. This report is my current best knowledge of the new systems. However, I am sure, as with everything in Star Citizen, things will change again. But I hope this has helped highlight some of the features soon to be upon us. The depth and intricacy CIG have put into engineering is very impressive. As with all things, it will take a long time to balance. However, I am actually less worried and more excited for the new gameplay, as I think it is going to add a massive amount of depth to our experience within the Star Citizen verse. It also creates a brand new role for citizens. So if you'd like to become the most important person on any ship, the 7Hills Engineering Corps is recruiting today. Do your part and help keep those ships flying whilst charging vast sums of money for your services. Serve in the Corps. Join our team today and live by our motto. The 7Hills Engineering Corps, keeping you flying today and potentially even tomorrow. High risk of death from fire, space, gunshot wounds, stabbings, electrical failures, failed airlocks, random venting of atmospheres, explosions. 7Hills holds no accountability of loss of life or items. Terms and conditions apply.